week I celebrated Canada's 150th anniversary of Confederation. There were a lot of other things that I did. I finished summer school, I'm done with my exams, so I'm officially actually on a summer break where I'm either going to be working or working on other projects that I have, video related or not. I also went hiking, which is super fun because it combines seeing nature with being with friends and getting a slight amount of exercise as well, so you get to see great sights and do great things and be with great people. The hike was really fantastic because it's not too far from where I live. It's essentially a local hike, and it just shows a great part of something that you don't really see super often but is relatively near where you live, which is fantastic. So on the topic of celebrating Canada's 150th, there are a lot of ad campaigns right now and all these crazy video projects about Canada being a fantastic place, and you know, they say enough about how fantastic and great of a place Canada is, and they get perspectives from citizens, immigrants, foreigners even, and I think that's really great because Canada has a fantastic reputation. It has a great reputation as a place to live. So doing what I do on the bi-weekly series, I went and talked to someone who provided me with his perspective on what it's like to live in Canada, the opportunities that are presented to you once you do live in Canada, and his name is Fernando.
It's easy to live in terms of making a living. It's not that strict. Right. So it's easy. If you just work in a cafe or whatever, you can make a living that way. And even more if you get roommates or something, the better. Canada is not very a family country or a family-based country. My home country is Mexico. The biggest difference is that here the law or the rules are well enforced, and that ensures that people behave in a certain way. And in Mexico, the law is loose. It's loose. And people do whatever they want. Right. So it's difficult to live like that. It's safer and it's more predictable. Again, it's easy to live and you can actually pursue a hobby and a living. But if you are planning to grow a family, no, it's not family friendly. If you are young, for example, you want to learn English, absolutely come and do your thing. Learn English, go to school, do your hobby, work somewhere, whatever you want. Yeah.
Now, what's really interesting about having talked to Fernando is Canada always does have sort of like this good reputation of being like a fantastic place to live. They're peaceful, we're polite people, we have all these crazy weird food like bagged milk and poutine. But other than that, he did present an idea that isn't super duper foreign, and a lot of actually the citizens, specifically of the major cities like Vancouver, Toronto, and Ottawa, they always express, and it's the fact that it isn't a super family friendly place. You know, moving here, it's not necessarily easy to just start a family, you know. Vancouver, among other places in Canada, does have quite a high cost of housing. You know, the houses here aren't necessarily cheap. One of the things I think that causes the high prices of Canada's housing is probably because it's such a fantastic place to live. There's nature, and there's a beautiful city, and there's decent weather. There's also a bunch of other factors, but what my point is that in Canada's history, just like a bunch of other countries, even though they may be displayed as countries that are fantastic to live in, and even though they are, right, even though they have reputations as the best place on earth to live, or stuff like that, you have to remember that there are also cons to that country. There are also downsides to living in that country. No matter how many fantastic reasons there are to live in there just has to be a couple of downsides to living there. And one of the ones for Vancouver is high housing prices and unnecessarily large amounts of rain. And that kind of scares me too, because I am on the verge of becoming an adult and I'll have to start thinking about living outside of my own parents' house. Where am I gonna live? In an expensive Vancouver house or a smaller place to live, which is significantly further from the city? These are decisions that I'm gonna have to start thinking about soon, you know, and it's scary to think about. But anyways, that was that week. Those are my thoughts. I'll see you guys later. Happy Canada Day. Which is funny because this video is going to be uploaded on July 4th, which is Independence Day in the States. Happy Independence Day to you Americans as well. See you later.